Welcome back to the Next Gen Podcast. I'm your host, Brooks Huber, alongside Dane Farsfeet. In today's episode, we're joined by Cooper Mattern. Today, we'll be discussing where Jadeveon Clowney will sign. We will be breaking down the Jameis Winston deal. We'll talk with Cooper Mattern about Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers' future in Green Bay. And who will be better 5 years from now, Tua or Burrow? Let's get right into it with where will Jadeveon Clowney sign.
Brooks, what team do you anticipate Jadeveon Clowney signing with?
Well, I do not see him re-signing with Seattle. I think he would be a great fit in Tennessee with defensive-minded head coach Mike Vrabel. They need an edge rusher to complement newly acquired Vic Beasley, who led the league in sacks in 2016. The Titans have around $20 million in cap space, which is definitely enough to sign him. I think he would boost the Titans to contend again in the AFC and possibly bring them back to the AFC Championship. This would be a great move for the Titans, and I think it's a great fit.
Yeah, I went a different route, but the same division. For me, I think he'd fit better on the Colts alongside Justin Houston, who had 11 sacks this year. I think those two would work well together on each side. They have around $28 million in cap room, which is more than enough to sign him, like what you said.
For sure.
And I just think with how talented they are, and I feel like he wants to play for a contender, and the Titans are just that, but I also think the Colts are too, and the Colts could offer him more money than most teams could. I think they're a big contender getting Phillip Rivers this year, along with having a great draft. And if they put him on the defensive side of the ball, that could bring him to a whole new level.
Yeah, that would definitely cement them as favorites to win that division for sure. Dane, what do you think about Jameis Winston signing with the Saints?
In my opinion, it's a very good signing for Jameis Winston because I feel like he can learn a lot from Drew Brees and Sean Payton. He only signed a 1-year, $1 million deal, plus incentives, but I don't think he's in it for the money right now. He's in it to get better, which is a great sign for me, which makes me believe in him that he's going to get better and get a starting job later on in the future. I think it's a very good signing for him. He's going to learn a lot. He's probably going to be – I think he's going to be the number 2 quarterback on the depth chart. I think it's a very good signing for both teams.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. I mean, although he's only making $1.1 million this season after leading the league in passing yards, he's making less money than Jeff Driscoll, Cooper Rush, Nate Peterman, Blaine Gabbert, and Nate Sudfeld, which is amazing. But it shows me that he's not in it for the money right now. He's in it to learn, and he's willing to take less this season to learn in a great system with Sean Payton and Drew Brees that will help him get a better contract later down the road. He's thinking 10 years from now instead of right now, which not a lot of quarterbacks would do that. They would try to cash in now, not Jameis. I think it shows a lot of maturity that he wants to grow, and I think it's a great signing by both parties. Saints get a great backup quarterback, replace Teddy Bridgewater for next to nothing, and Jameis Winston gets to learn under Drew Brees for a season and hopefully land a starting quarterback spot next season. Hey, Cooper. Welcome to the Next Gen Podcast. Happy to have you on. Let's just jump right to it and start. Cooper, do you see Cam Newton being a starting quarterback of a team in Week 1?
You know, Brooks, that's definitely a great question. You know, he's 30 years old, former MVP and a Super Bowl runner-up in the 2015-2016 season, which a lot of people forget. But I think the real question concerning Cam Newton is if he's going to be healthy enough. He's had shoulder issues in the past. He's had some foot issues in the past. And there's really 3 teams that I could see him playing for if the quarterback situation for those teams doesn't work out. The first one on my list is probably the Jaguars. They kind of had Gardner Minshew last year. That the Minshew mania kind of was a short-lived thing, so we'll see if he's able to get his game back on track in the start of this season. If not, I could see Cam replacing him. The second team is probably the Patriots. they have Jarrett Stidham right now. I think the question concerning him is if he's really good enough. Definitely a young guy who had to back up Brady this past year, so he definitely got good experience from Brady, but we'll see if he's able to play at his best game. And my last team is the Redskins. Obviously, Ron Rivera, Cam's former head coach, is now the head coach for the Redskins, so that'd be a good fit for him if he's able to sign a deal with them. I could see Rivera helping him once again like he did back in that 2015 and 2016 season when they went on that Super Bowl run.
Yeah, you basically took all three of my teams. Yeah, I do think Jaguars and Patriots are great options for Cam. I also think like the Redskins are a sleeper team, like you said, with Ron Rivera, the connections.
Right.
And I do think, though, he will wait until training camp to sign and wait to see if any team starting QBs get injured or whatnot and wait for an opening, because that will create more opportunities.
Yeah, and I think another thing with him is most young guys kind of need that veteran around them to take that full ability out of them and so they're able to play at the best of their ability. But I feel like Cam has kind of been around the league long enough where he's kind of in that 30 where he is 30 years old, but he's kind of in that range of not too old but not too young. So he has that good feel for the league, but doesn't really need that veteran presence around him to be able to unlock his full potential.
Yeah. I mean, I think Cam he does not want to be like sitting behind a rookie quarterback. He wants to be playing now. And I think those three teams that we mentioned are just great options for Cam Newton. All right, Cooper. This Wednesday, Brett Favre said that he thinks Aaron Rodgers will finish his career elsewhere after the Packers traded up to select QB Jordan Love out of Utah State. Do you agree with Brett Favre's comments?
Definitely interesting comments that Favre had to say about Aaron Rodgers. I definitely thought it was interesting that Green Bay decided to take Jordan Love in the draft. Definitely a shock to most people, but since we were just talking about Cam Newton, he's in that 30-year-old range, kind of in the younger to middle portion of his career, and it's kind of the opposite for Aaron Rodgers. He's 36 years old. He said earlier that he wanted to play until he's 40, or at least around until he's 40, so he's got about 3-4 more years left, depending on what he's thinking. So he's definitely near that later stage of his career, and with 2 years left on his contract, he's either going to have to play out those 2 years with Love backing him up, or if he doesn't have the kind of performance that he's looking for and that his coaching staff is looking for, Jordan Love might end up being the guy in Green Bay, and I guess we'll just have to see how his play pans out. But I see him playing the early start of this season, especially in a Green Bay uniform. So unless he doesn't play like he's been playing for the past 5-10 years, however long he's been in the league, he's definitely proven himself. So unless he's not playing like he knows he's able to play, I can see him finishing up in Green Bay for the last 2 years that he has on his contract.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that he will be the starting quarterback for the next 2 years, but after that, it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's definitely up.
Yeah, I think he will be in a different jersey in 2 years from now. And, I mean, you look around, Bears, they do not have a QB of their future. Mitch Trubisky, they have not accepted nor declined his fifth-year option. I do not think Nick Foles is the answer there. And I think 2 years from now, Aaron Rodgers could be a great fit with that stellar defense.
Yeah, I agree on that. Kind of like something we saw with Tom Brady. They're both kind of, him and Rodgers are both kind of in that elite level of play. So once his contract's up, we could see him kind of pull a Tom Brady and go finish his career somewhere that's best for his family and somewhere that's best for the end of his career and somewhere he wants to, see himself and his family life after football ends.
Yeah, and where Bears go, then play Green Bay twice a year and get revenge. Chicago. Thanks for joining the podcast, Cooper. We are glad to have you. Now let's transition to our last segment of this week's podcast. All right, Dane. Our final segment. Which rookie QB will be better 5 years from now? Tua or Burrow?
In my opinion, Brooks, it is Tua Tagovailoa. I think, in my eye, he's one of the most accurate passers in college football that I've watched. Granted, I think it could go neck and neck. I think him and Joe Burrow are both, they check all the boxes on athleticism, size. But Tua, to me, he throws the most accurate deep ball in all of college football. He makes all the tight window throws. I just think that he, from 5 years from now, when healthy, if he's healthy, hopefully he's healthy, he's going to be the better quarterback than Joe Burrow.
See, I agree with you on most of those things, but my biggest if is if he's healthy, if he stays on the field, which I like what the Dolphins did. They said, wow, he has injury concerns. Let me build an offensive line around him through the draft, which I think they did an excellent job doing that. Although, I'm going to have to take Burrow on this because there's a reason why he won the Heisman and was drafted number 1 overall. He's got talent. He threw 60 touchdown passes last season. He's got a great arm. He's poised in the pocket. He is not afraid to make a play with his legs. He's a leader in the locker room and has the ability to command an offense. And he has weapons. He's got A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, and Higgins that they just acquired through the draft. He is set up for success.
Okay.
And he does not have the injury concerns that Tua has.
But what scares me is Tua, his sophomore and junior year, he had great seasons, right?
Correct.
But Joe Burrow, the year before, this season was arguably one of the greatest seasons ever by a quarterback.
Correct.
But the year before, no one was talking about him.
Well, yeah, you watched the year before, he was not that good of a quarterback. He even said that. Over the summer,
1 year.
He improved a ton.
But yeah, so did LSU. So did the weapons around him.
Okay.
I also think 5 years from now, Tua's going to be better because I feel like the Dolphins will be in a better position than the Cincinnati Bengals.
They are building a great culture down there, but you cannot ignore the 60 touchdowns.
Oh, I'm not ignoring it. I'm just saying when you do it 1 year, it's hard to account or to count on him to be great every single year when he's only been great 1 year. You know?
For sure. Oh yeah, no, for sure. But
so I think I think he has to prove himself his rookie year, and I think he will prove himself. I'm just saying, like, I feel like he's got a lot of hype going into him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he threw for 60 touchdown passes, one of the best college seasons
ever. Yeah.
I mean, you'd be crazy not to hype him up.
It's just hard for me to believe that he's going to be amazing in 5 years when he's only had one great year of college football under his belt.
See, that's where I disagree. I understand that he's had 1 year, but he has grown up a lot in this last year. And if you watch the tape from a year ago when he threw for 18 touchdowns, and then this season when he threw for 60, major improvement. He grinded over the summer. He improved in every single area. I mean, he's by far the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I know.
When healthy, it's Tua and him. But Tua scares me with his injuries because one hit that could change his whole career.
I agree with you, and he's grinded it, he's worked his butt off. You know, it's all like I agree with you there, but I'm just saying he's gonna have to. Anybody could. Okay, not anybody, but like he's gonna be
not anybody can throw 60
when he's got the weapons around him. And
still throw 60?
The best O-line and the best receivers in the nation and the great running back in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, I just think he's going to have to prove himself, as of any quarterback would. But
he has great weapons on Cincinnati, though. Nothing's changed, basically.
Yeah, but the defense is upgrade.
So what?
You're not going against
touchdowns.
You're not going against Arkansas and all those. He threw 60 touchdowns, yeah, but when you have the perfect... I just think it's going to be Tua. From 5 years from now, if he stays healthy, which is a big if, you know, it's scary if, but
scary.
I also think that the Dolphins will be in a better position than the Bengals in 5 years.
They do play in an easier division, for sure, where they could make that jump faster. Because
and I like Brian Flores.
Brady.
And Zach Taylor hasn't proved himself. Like, what if Zach Taylor doesn't turn out to be and they bring in a new coach, whole new system, all that?
I don't think they will. I mean, I think he's already building a relationship with Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow is the savior in Cincinnati right now.
Last year, I don't think last year really counts for him. I think this year is the year where he gets to – because A.J. Green was out the whole year. They were tanking
he
hard.
He didn't prove himself last year. No.
Yeah, so, like, it's kind of like his first year, really.
Yeah. he will have a chance to turn some heads.
Yeah, but like if he struggles and has a couple more bad years, and Burrow never really gets going, they're gonna look for another guy, bring in a whole new guy,
I don't see
change
that
the whole new
happening, though.
system.
They have talent there, and I mean, there is a winning culture there in Cincinnati. They made playoffs 5 years in a row.
Yeah, but they never won that was Marvin Lewis though.
Well, yeah, but they're no shy to QB success. Carson Palmer, Andy Dalton, now Joe Burrow. They've had some great quarterback play in Cincinnati, and I don't think that'll change with Joe Burrow.
Well, I guess we'll just have to see.
I guess we will.
Thank you for tuning in for episode 2 of the Next Gen podcast. Make sure to subscribe and stay safe.